Hello and welcome to a video with me, Winter Entries, with another video of Weekly Untrue, in which I guess I'll just go ahead and just get straight to talking about anime, considering I really don't actually have that much else to really talk about. So, yeah, mieruko-chan, in which Zen is not actually the one killing the cats. Was holding off until the last episode on actually saying that, and of course I end up jumping in on that's a little too early. And I did have a feeling that was going to be the case. Sadly. So, yeah. Zen's not killing cats. They just made it look like it was him. So, yeah. Which we, of course, also in this episode actually get Zen's backstory, in which we also see Zen's mother, who honestly, I think it's probably one of the worst mothers I have actually ever seen in anime. Hell, even when it comes to just parents in general, probably one of the worst parents I've ever seen in anime. Being super controlling, and also just killing a cat that Sin was taking care of for really no reason at all. But yeah, that's out of the way. Getting on to the rest of this episode. Miku stalks Zen to basically try and help Hannah when it comes to getting rid of all those spirits for her. So Miku stalks Zen because of all the spirits that surround him, basically. And when she eventually ends up confronting him, she just runs away. And yeah, the cat she has with her at the time jumps into the road, in which Zen then jumps to save the cat from getting kicked by a car. So, yeah, if that car was a truck instead, he probably would have gotten isekai'd, but it's just a car, so he didn't. And they end up being at the hospital afterwards, in which there, Miku basically learns more about Zen kind of from his friend Satoru, and kind of why Zen is basically how he's trying to save cats and why basically when it comes to his mother and everything she did to him. So yeah. Also during that scene there where Miku's kind of talking to Satoru, we kind of get the explanation of the whole scene at the very beginning of the previous episode, where Zen had blood on his hands. Yeah, that was actually because one of the cats he saved gave birth to kittens. So, yeah, nothing bad there, apparently. And yeah, that's basically everything besides right there at the end of the episode. Miku uses her last chance to be saved to free Zen of his mother, in which I guess we're going to be seeing the rest of that play out in the next episode, considering we literally only got the very beginning of that at the end of the episode there. So, yeah, done with mieruko-chan for this episode, I guess. Demon Slayer. Moving on to that now, in which Uzi has 3 wives. Don't really have anything against that, to be honest. But he sent them to infiltrate the entertainment district and has lost contact with them. And yeah, whole reason for this entire mission that's going forward now. And also, I'll mention one thing right now before I kind of forget about it, is that during this week watching Lost Pause, he mentioned in one of his videos about how those 3 girls basically are 3 boys. Suma Inosuke, Maiko Zenitsu, Hinatsuru Tanjiro. They're basically all just gender-bent version of our 3 main characters. That's basically what they are. So, yeah, don't know exactly how I feel about that, but okay. But moving on past that. Uzi has Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke cross-dress to infiltrate the entertainment district to try and find his 3 wives that are currently missing. And yeah, Inosuke doesn't really need to do the whole cross-dressing and everything because he's such a pretty boy. And seriously, what's wrong with all the people that can't actually tell that they're guys? Seriously? Eh. Just have to ignore that because purely for comedic purposes, to be honest. And yeah, don't really exactly have that much to say. Probably. I probably should have more to say here, but nah. End of episode. Okay? Inosuke basically just about to find Maiko, in which I'm going to also take a guess that, yeah, all 3 of them have been captured by demons, because, yeah, what other explanation is there, to be honest? So, yeah, don't really have anything else to say for Demon Slayer this week, so moving on to Bashuko Tensei, where the episode basically starts off with Rudeus having nightmares due to his encounter with Orsted, and also, as I expected for this episode, Rudeus does actually have to do a little bit of explaining about the human god, Itagami, and also telling Reginald about the Curse of Spears, basically, and how he's basically free from that now. So, yeah, dead end arrives to Vitoria, seeing what's left of Rudis' home and everything, and Reginald parts ways with Rudis and Eris now that he has finished his end of the deal of bringing them home. So now Reginald is gone, off to do whatever he's going to do until they eventually run into him again, which I'm pretty sure is eventually going to happen at some point. So Brutus and Eddie's by themselves now arrive at the refugee camp, in which they immediately run into Ghislaine once again, finally reuniting with her after the mana disaster separating them like 2 years ago, or possibly even 3 now, I'm not exactly sure. And of course, getting there, they end up learning that the rest of Eddie's his family is dead, not just her grandfather, but also both of her parents. So Eddie's is basically completely alone now. So yeah, that night, Aries goes into the assistant and starts trying to entice him to have sex with her, because she's now 15, which is the deal they agreed upon, but the deal is for Brutus being at 15 years old instead of her. So Brutus is still technically 13 years old, I think. But with that there, Brutus is actually trying to have some restraint because he doesn't want to really take advantage of Ares' mental state not being very good. But Ares basically brings out a super weapon that her mother taught her. I want to have your kittens, yeah? Yeah, that line. Of course, Brutus is my fault for that, losing all the rest of his restraint. So, yeah, they end up doing the deed, and Brutus wakes up in the morning to find Eris gone, and that Eris left with Glenn to do training, basically, from what I can understand, considering the whole situation and everything there. So, Brutus thinks he's basically just been dumped, basically because of his past life and everything not been great, so he's kind of not that great with situations like these, so he kind of jumps to the conclusion that he's getting dumped. And also, Eddie's probably could have done a better job when it comes to writing notes, but I think we all know at this point that Eddie's not that great at communication, so yeah. Kind of both Brutus and Daddy's is kind of at fault for this little misunderstanding, but I am pretty sure that Aries has left with Ghislaine to do training so she can basically try and get stronger so she's a better match for Rudis. Because she kind of sees herself as always being behind him. And also, in that episode there, is the very first time I think we've ever actually seen Rudis cry. In which also, Gertrude and Aries both cried in this episode as well. Gertrude when he kind of realized was Rudis told him that he's basically free from the curse of spears, and then Aries when Gertrude was leaving, so got both of them crying there, and then Rudis crying at the end. So our three main characters that we've had up to this point here, we're all crying in this episode. Not something I think anyone's really been pointing out that much, but all three of them crying in the same episode. Yeah, but next episode here, I'm kind of thinking it's basically going to be a point of view episode with Aries and possibly even Roxy, considering how long it's been since we actually seen anything from Roxy's perspective at this point. And also maybe a teaser of something when it comes through this for the next season. So, yeah, next episode, end of season 1, because this is still season 1, it's just part 2 of season 1. But yeah, that's Bashuko Tensei finished for this week. So moving on to Tsuki no Lika, where just before the launch, Lev learns that Irina lied to him about where she is basically going and everything. Though of course he has to go forward with the mission and everything going to space, so yeah. While up in space, Lev kind of repeats some of the things Irina said to him about what she kind of saw there, kind of to give Irina some kind of recognition for her efforts in this whole thing, getting to space and everything. And it also looks like the higher-ups are planning to dispose of Irina now, on the same day that Lev is supposed to be giving his speech after returning to Earth. It would also kind of seems like they also want Lev to start a revolution for some reason. I don't understand what they possibly gain from a revolution, considering they're the ones in power, right? So why would they want him to start a revolution? But yeah. But at the very least, it looks like Anya has some kind of master plan to save Irina. So yeah, let's go Anya! Fuck them all over! But yeah, don't really have anything else to say for Lika. So yeah, that ends next week as well. But moving on to the slow life anime we have for this season, where we start off with Tensei basically telling Red and Ritz about the whole situation when it comes to Ruti currency with Demon's Blessing and everything going on there. In which then Red, Ritz, and Tensei kind of starts planning to try and help Ruti kind of get through all of this. So yeah. Meanwhile, Aries, Theodora, and Albert have arrived at the port in Zoltan, I think, in which Ares immediately goes to center of town because of how bad the port is apparently. So yeah. And then not something that we actually know some at this point in the episode, but Shisodan, which is also that adventurer that we keep seeing, sees him and starts following him and manipulates Ares and everything, but ignoring that, Gred headed to the port during this and runs into Danan, the real Danan, who has lost his arm, because the other Danan we saw previously was actually Shishidan, disguised against him. And also Theodora and Albert both see Red and Danan talking there, kind of listen in on their conversation. So yeah, back to Ares, who Shishidan has basically led him to Red's apothecary, in which then Ares goes and destroys everything, including the bed, which, to be honest, him destroying that bed like that deserves death by all by itself, to be honest. So yeah, Ares still deserves to die. While Ares is doing that, I guess Red has gone to basically check up on Rit and Tise, in which in that little conversation, Rit basically realizes that the Danan she saw was not actually Danan, and they come to the conclusion that it was Shishidan. So at this point, we kind of also, at this point, actually know that it is Shishidan in the episode. So yeah, they head off to the Elven Ruins, where Ruti is, and has also taken Godwin to. And yeah, Elven Ruins, for some reason, has this little thing that says Hero Administration Authority. Yeah, something to do with the hero's blessings, I guess. So, they Red Red say, oh, get to the Elven Ruins there, in which they then get some answers out of Godwin's, basically, in which during all of this, kind of learn that Truti has a no-name blessing, basically, which does literally nothing, because, well, it's a blessing that shouldn't really even exist. So the whole demon's blessing thing for Truti is not that dangerous, because the other blessing she's gotten is literally nothing. So, yeah, demon's blessing not very dangerous for Ruti. But during that, Ares also manages to find the Elven ruins, in which kind of lures Red and Ruti out to him, and he immediately kind of attacks Red, in which then Ruti, of course, then attacks Ares for doing that, in which Ruti does not kill him again. This is now 2 times Ruti has not killed Ares when she really should have, to be honest. So hopefully third time's the charm. Next time, hopefully Ruti will actually kill him. Because in all honesty, Ares might as well actually be the Demon Lord. And then also right at the end there, Shishidan approaches Ares once again, but this time as the adventurer, that in his adventurer form, and gets him to help him look for a relic of the first hero. So yeah, don't know exactly what that relic is, but yeah, and nothing good there, to be honest. But that's everything for this episode. So moving on to the Assassin Isekai anime, where that job to assassinate Dia was not actually just a job to assassinate Dia. It's to save her, because this whole Civil War thing that they're involved in, they're on the losing side. So yeah, basically the only way to actually save Dia from anything bad happening to Dia is to basically fake her death. So yeah, apparently Luke's father has had to actually do something like this before, which is the situation when it comes to Luke's mother. Luke's father saving her, because Luke's mother is a part of the Vicone family, which also means that Luke and Dee are actually cousins. Don't know how distant of cousins, but they are cousins, so kind of incest. But yeah, father like son apparently here. But of course, Luke accepts his job to save Dia, basically. And Tate does her best to help Luke get to the Vicone house, kinda trying to get him halfway so he can save his man and everything. So yeah, good job Tarate on being the ultimate tool, as you put it. So yeah, Tarate also apparently is kind of self-aware and knows that Luke is just kind of trying to manipulate her and everything that he did when it comes to actually saving her at the beginning there. She is aware of what he was doing there. So yeah, don't think Luke's brainwashing works that well considering, yeah, Darte is completely aware of what he is doing. So, Luke arrives at the Vicone house and starts attacking all the soldiers there, besieging them there, and just causing a bunch of chaos to create a distraction just so he can get inside without being detected by anyone at all, because can't be seen at all in order to do this job to save Dia. In which also apparently Dia is the sole reason why they've actually been able to hold out there for the 3 entire days that it took for Luke to get there, basically, because how long it took for the messenger to actually get to them, so Luke could head over there to help them, basically. So, yeah, got that little reunion at the very end, which is nice and all that, but one episode left. So, guess we're going to be seeing all that play out, I guess. We're not even going to get to the very first scene that we actually saw in the anime, apparently. Considering, well, one episode left. Don't think we have enough time to get from saving Dia to whatever is happening in that very first episode, in the very first scene of the anime. So, yeah, not getting that far in the story. But, yeah, that's basically all the anime I have to talk about this week. Unless I can find time tomorrow to put in Yuki Yuna is a Hero and Restaurant to Another World after they air, considering kind of want to squeeze those two into the episode here, so if I manage to find time, we're going to get those right now. So, now that I have all the anime done, I'm going to move on to games, considering, yeah, Harem Hotel version 14 has been released, which took me multiple hours to download that, so that probably could have been a bit quicker considering I was watching stream at the time that I was downloading it, so probably could have been a bit quicker, but yeah. I never actually updated the game to 13.2, which I'm pretty sure is an update that's basically made it so I could just download patches of that from this point on. So because I didn't do that update, I'm pretty sure I was kind of forced to download the entire game again. Which also something I've noticed is the fact that Harem Hotel has gotten so large that it is actually larger than something like American Truck Simulator on Steam now. Seriously, it's a visual novel, and yet it's that large. But yeah, all the main characters got a new event, like normal, of course, with Maria, Felicity, and Emma getting 2 events, I think, and also Nia and Vanessa also getting new events as well. So, starting off kind of in the order that I did them in. So yeah, starting with Ashley, where we're basically continuing the search for Rin, and we also stop at a ramen shop that Ashley was eating at when she was little, and yeah, after that's there, we got the option to give this guy a tip, in which I decided to just go all out and give $1,000 tip, which of course, yeah, that hurt me a bit when it comes to money, considering once I got through all the content in this update, I was down to negative $295. Seriously, I did not expect to be spending so much money during this update, and all the content that was added in this update. Considering if it wasn't for that, I would still be in the positive if I didn't do the $1,000 tip, but still would have spent quite a bit of money. Considering I was down at $1,000 before I got money from the bar, the weekly income from the bar and everything, so like $2,800 I spent on this, 1,000 of that being the tip. So $1,600 has forced to spend no matter what, basically. Yeah, you have money for this update. But with the end of Ashley's events there, we basically talk to the gang that's in control of the area, some of the members there, in which we basically learn that Ren has basically been taken by the leader of the mafia. So, yeah, he has apparently figured out how to get Ren back from the leader of the mafia, whoever that is, basically. So, that's Ashley's one event done. So, moving on to Callie's, in which with this one, we go to a bowling alley with Callie and Moon, both of them getting closer to each other and kind of start planning to start some kind of project together. In which, of course, when it comes to the bowling and everything, Moon completely destroys us, and Callie doing the worst out of all three of you. So, yeah. Also got an age scene right at the end of the event. So, first threesome for Moon. So good there, I guess. So, next one is Lynn's event, where we have been invited to Queen Chia's wedding, in which at the beginning there, Nia is basically trying to convince Lynn to kidnap Gia because of how influential she is and everything. Which, of course, Lynn declines doing that because that's too much trouble. But we get over there and kind of start talking to Queen Gia, in which we kind of learn that she did not realize the kind of things that the High Elf Queen was really doing and everything, and that she had imprisoned you when you got to the island, so yeah. None of that was actually a trap or anything. She just didn't know. So yeah, the entire reason why Gia invited both of you to her wedding is purely because she was hoping that the two of you could help her, considering you are the only ones that she really can trust that won't be trying to control her, even wanting you to go as far as to kill the person that she's supposed to be marrying. So yeah, we of course end up declining that because way too much trouble there. That we can't really do anything about in the first place, in all honesty. But as it turns out, Nia basically followed us to here and approached Gia after we left, in which Nia basically almost managed to get Gia to come with her, but she ends up stopping last moment basically and gets shot. Considering I can't really say anything else there besides that she was shot, considering that's literally what happened. So yeah, Gia is in quite a bit of trouble now after basically trying to run away and everything. So yeah, everything goes forward as normal, and plans basically besides weddings not an open wedding anymore. So yeah, we're eventually going to have to save her, aren't we? But yeah, Lynn's event done. So Maria next, in which Maria has gotten back her DNA test basically and learns that her mother is a dark elf and also one of the six legendary leaders of the revolutions, like 100 years ago or something, however long ago those wars were. And yeah, Maria's mother captured and put in the high security prison 21 years ago, so yeah, no way in hell she's ever going to get to see her mother unless we somehow free her. So yeah, Maria basically decides to try and follow in her footsteps and goes to Nia for advice on what she should do, in which in all that, we basically agree that Mario should basically be a spy, in which in the next event for her, starting out in the bar, kind of trying to gather information and everything, overhears some mafia members talking about a high stakes poker game that has some very influential people, in which then after that, you, Maria, and Nia basically start kind of doing putting together a plan on how to take advantage of it and everything, and also at the same time hoping to free an elf that's going to be put into the pot in this poker game. So yeah, that's kind of Mario stuff there done. So moving on to androids, who I've named I, considering don't think any other characters are going to be named I, so I'm going with that. Besides, decent name I think for an android. So she is apparently trying, basically been creating a cyberspace and also continuing to develop. Ali, considering I don't actually know how else to pronounce that, A11Y, basically, a dash between the 1 and Y there. So, we end up getting a new body for Ali, basically, because her storage is basically maxed out and needs a new body to continue growing, basically. So, yeah. Apparently, everyone so far has just come to an agreement that Ali is a girl, which I guess makes sense considering, yeah, don't think I need to say anything for that. After that, Autumn, in which her event, well, yeah, this was going to happen eventually, her bringing us to a church with her, in which when we get there, Autumn goes to the seer to basically seek guidance and everything and be forgiven for his sins and everything. So yeah, in that we basically seem to get some foreshadowing of something that's going to happen in the future for her story, which it kind of goes further when it comes to after this whole session of the church. The bishop approaches Autumn asking to talk to her and Hazel in private, considering they apparently need a third saint for what's coming in the future. So apparently now Autumn and Hazel have to compete for that title as saint. So yeah, don't know exactly what's going to happen in the future here. Considering it is honestly quite interesting, I think. And also, Brony's doing a great job when it comes to this game, considering he's literally made this entire religion up from scratch, in all honesty. He's done a very good job when it comes to actually coming up with all that. So yeah, props to him for this, I guess. But moving on to Felicity and Emma events here, in which first one is just an age scene in the dungeon. No need to really say anything else on that, I guess. So yeah. Next one, you go to the school to check up on both of them and see what they're doing, basically. And basically just have a casual conversation, I guess, in which Emma is doing the splits throughout the entire thing. So yeah, apparently doing splits is not that big of a deal for Emma, considering she can literally stay in that position casually throughout an entire conversation. And of course, at the end of this event, we also get to see their father, in which, of course, is not very nice. And from what I can tell, we're probably going to be getting a surprise visit from him, where he's going to be checking on the hotel to see if it's on the up and up. Which, of course, it's not, considering all the things we are doing. that are probably highly illegal, with the whole sanctuary thing where we're keeping elves for their safety and everything. And also, I kind of have a feeling that Felicity and Emma's father might actually be the mafia leader. Maybe. But just going by his face and the nickname the mafia leader has and all that, I kind of have a feeling that he may actually be the mafia leader. So, that's just a possibility I'm thinking of right now. But that's all the main characters done. So, moving on to Vanessa, I guess. In which we go to the museum, in which we kind of just get more information on the 6 leaders of the revolutions and everything, in which 3 of them are dead, 3 of them are still alive. So, yeah, get good amount of information on all of them there. And at the end of that event, we get an 8 scene with Vanessa as well. So, yeah, not exactly that much actually really happened in that event, besides getting that information. So, moving on to Nia's event, in which you basically go with her to an underground hideout, basically, with refugees from previous revolutions, in which down there you run into Gin, which is one of those leaders of the revolution, who of course doesn't really trust us at all because we are a human. So yeah, at this point we have actually now met 2 of the leaders of the revolution, Iska and Gin, and then the third one who's in a high security prison, but we also just so happen to be living with her daughter, Maria. So yeah, in the event for Nia, we bought supplies for her and also some got to see a bunch of different grenades, which I'm not going to actually have a screenshot for us, sadly, because I didn't actually take one, so yeah, not going to get to see those. But yeah, that's basically all the content that was added in Harem Hotel. Decent amount of content, I think, considering like 3, possibly 4 hours of content, I think. But that was a very good amount for how much was added there, I guess. With 1 event for all these characters and then 2 for side characters. So, yeah. Harem Hotel version 14 done, in which it honestly kind of looks like we're heading towards starting some kind of revolution, personally. Yeah. Apparently it would look like we are heading towards starting the 4th revolution for the elves. Great! And honestly, I can't. If we are going that direction, I can't wait to see what Dai is going to be doing. Android. Seeing the kind of havoc she creates. Yeah. But moving on to the one other game I actually played this week, which is Devious World, of course, which I honestly didn't actually get to play. Didn't actually play as much this week as I've been, considering this week I literally only played the contents that was added in version 70 of the game, with an exception to the one thing that was added for Celesity because I haven't actually gotten to any of her contents yet, so I just ignored it. But yeah, starting from the top, I'm going to try my best to just do a quick summary of these events. So, first one is basically just the Plussy Jamie stuff that was started in the previous update, I think, or possibly the one before that, being continued when it comes to Tanya's side of this. Not that much added, but it's there. We do actually get this age scene basically there. And then next one is basically just a small continuation for Mike's. One of Mike's routes that I honestly don't really remember how you actually get to it anymore. But it has to do with you taking up some kind of job and then you're put up in space. Some kind of space station with I honestly don't know. But yeah. little bit added there for that as well. And then the third one, which is Austin releasing Marielle, which is basically the choice where you choose Marielle as your inheritance from your grandfather. So yeah, you can release her there for a wish, which hasn't actually been written any further at that point. So yeah, not that much content, but I personally would like to see where that's go, see more of that expanded. So yeah, after that, another continuation for a bit of Jamie's content, in which is basically where you're basically doing stuff when it comes to Jamie's birthday, where Jamie is basically turned into an incubus because apparently has demon blood in his family and everything or whatever. So yeah, go to Kevin's house. That stuff has been continued, which is basically just the yaoi roots there, basically. After that, we got another event for Eric in the Rama simulation. When it comes to the digitizer stuff, there. Decent, I think. But, yeah, not exactly that much added, but it's there. And of course, it's an H scene, so yeah. After that, we get another event for Austin when it comes to inheritance stuff from his grandfather, where you choose the artifacts, but I do not bid on the pendant and put it away this time. So, decent amount of content expanded there, and yeah, personally one of the better ones in this update with what was added there. I think, and then another bit for the plushie Jamie stuff that was added, in which this time instead of going over to Kevin's and being given to Tanya, this time you have your mother give you to Maya, and then have her give you to Sandra, which is one of Jamie's bullies, and yeah, get an 8 scene there as well, I guess. And honestly, another one of the better ones of what was added in this update, especially considering opens more possibilities when it comes to Maya personally, considering that's one of my favorite ships is Jamie and Maya, with all the stuff that's in this game, one of my favorites. But after that, we get a bit more for Buddy, where you, with his content with on Halloween, where you invite the witch and cat girl in for cookies, and yeah, decent setup there, I think, when it comes to stuff, I guess. And there is also another 8 scene that was added there. Personally, not a favorite of mine, I guess, considering the one that does actually have the 8 scene, yeah. Don't really like the looks of where that's going, kind of. And then, last bits that was added for Layla this time, in which this part here is easily the one that's got the most content added, though I don't really know how to sum it up very well. But yeah, D&D Isekai, kind of. So yeah, don't really know how else to really summarize that, but the entire part of the game that this is in is D&D, pretty much, where you get put into the game yourself. So yeah, out of all the stuff that was added in this update, my 3 favorites, basically, ones with the most content and everything, would be the Plussy Jamie stuff that was added where you're given to Maya, that there, and also putting the pendant back for Austin when it comes to the artifacts you inherited from your grandfather there, and then also Layla's events that was added there at the bottom. So yeah, those 3 are kind of my favorites of everything that was added in this update. And in all honesty, this update is probably one of the better ones that we've gotten in the last few months, considering Shuma hasn't really been doing the best lately. It's kind of been having some problems when it comes to just thinking of stuff, I guess. Writer's block and all that, kind of. So, yeah, don't really have anything else to talk about at this point. Besides the fact that my channel is honestly doing absolutely horrible for absolutely no reason, basically. Considering at this point, we're halfway through December, only have 3 hours of watch time, when normally I get like 10 to 30 hours. So, average of 20. And so far, I only have 3 for this month, and we're halfway through it. Last month wasn't that good, but it's still better than this. Seriously, don't know what happened, but just one day back in November, it's like I kind of got shadow banned by YouTube or something. I honestly don't know, but views have been cut in half, basically. Watch time is doing worse and worse. So, yeah, kind of seems to be doing a bit better last few days. So, hopefully that continues and I can kind of have things going back. Considering, yeah, I at the very least want to be able to get 200 subscribers so I can change the darn channel URL. So I can actually have a custom thing there where it's just winner Andrew 8 instead of the channel ID or whatever. So yeah, don't really have anything else to say in this video. So yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.